When I first started teaching, the internet was just becoming popular, and we didn't have so many materials we could use on the web. I did have access to videos and music on CDs, and I would work with my media specialist to get special programs for my students. I asked her about getting a copy of a movie, and she told me that it was probably not okay to play the whole thing in my class. I told her I had only planned to use it for educational use. That's when I found out there is no such thing as educational use. Now, in the age of the internet, there are so many materials available to teachers, not just old video cassettes and CDs. In fact, you can find digital information in just about any format online, including lesson plans, videos, music, and all kinds of images. It must be okay to use them, or else the people who created that stuff wouldn't just post it online. But the fact that there is no such thing as educational use still applies. Copyright protects all of those things, even if you can download them free on the internet. You just need to know when it's okay to use that material in your classroom. Anything in a tangible form is protected by copyright. Tangible forms include writing, but also any form of digital media. That includes audio and video recordings, web pages, and even email. If you can copy it, print it, play it, or transfer it, it's in a tangible form and it is protected by copyright. Even the story is protected by copyright. And you no longer have to submit your media to the Copyright Office for it to be protected. If you can prove you created it, it's protected. So then, what can teachers use in their classrooms? Is everything off limits? You may be able to use portions of copyrighted material under what is called fair use. There are 4 criteria for fair use, and you have to meet all 4. But the most important thing to remember is that you can usually use only a small portion of copyright protected information for fair use. So what does fair use include? Generally, one way you can use copyright protected material is if you are creating a derivative work like a satire or a commentary. Non-profit educational purposes also usually fall under fair use, but that doesn't give you complete freedom. Some industries, especially the movie and music industries, strictly prohibit the use of their materials except under certain limited conditions, or by paying some fee for use. If the material you are using is factual rather than fictional, you're probably okay in terms of the second criteria, the nature of the work. If the information is commonly known, like the state capitals, the height of Mount McKinley, or the population of France, that information is likely fair use. The amount you use is the third criteria, and it can be confusing because there are no strict legal guidelines. There are several authorities, including some on the web, that suggest teachers follow a 10% rule. That means using any more than 10% of the original may not be fair use. That can include 10% or no more than 3 minutes of a video, whichever is less, 10% or 1,000 words of text, whichever is less, 10% or 30 seconds of music, you got the idea, 10% of an image or a collection of images. The fourth criteria relates to commercial properties, and that's probably not something that's going to happen in your classroom. But if teachers can only use 10% of something, that's not very helpful, especially when there's so much good information available for free on the internet. Luckily, that's not always the case. There are a lot of materials that are available for use by teachers for free. Some of them are described as being in the public domain. Many people, especially educators, designate that the material they have created is in the public domain. Then, you're free to use it in your teaching. Government-funded materials are in the public domain, and there are a lot of government institutions and organizations that receive government funding that create lots and lots of free materials for teachers. And generally, anything published in the United States before 1923 is also in the public domain. And things enter the public domain over time. Right now, it's about 75 years after the death of the creator. There is a new form of licensing that also provides free materials for teachers. As a result of the ability to share materials so easily on the web, the notion of a Creative Commons licensing scheme was born. A Creative Commons license will tell you exactly how you can use the material. Usually, you can use it for free in your teaching. Some things may have limits as to how many copies you can make or whether you can change the information. You can find a ton of free stuff on the Creative Commons website for educators as well as other sites. There is also information, including software, that you can use for free. The biggest category is called open source software, and not only can you use it for free, but you are encouraged to use it by the creators and other users. They want you to use it. They want you to give feedback or even make it better. There is even open source content available, like all the information on the website freereading.org that has been adopted by the state of Florida as approved curricular material in its schools. And there are many other places that provide royalty-free or outright free materials, including clip art, images, photos, and music that you and your students can download and use in your classroom. All the information in this presentation is from free sources. So just because information is protected by copyright, and all information in a tangible form is, there are many different kinds of materials teachers have available to them, and the amount is growing every day. So just be careful, you know whether you are using your materials appropriately, and you'll be fine.